President Jacob Zuma is currently addressing the 5th anniversary celebrations of the adoption of the National Development Plan, and we cross live to Cape Town.
Prosperous society that we seek to build when we implement the National Development Plan. Compatriots, the NDP has a rich history. One of the key objectives of the 4th administration when we came into office was to ensure that we fill two gaps in government: planning as well as performance monitoring and evaluation. We needed these two functions to be mainstreamed within the administration. It is for this reason that I established a ministry responsible for the National Planning Commission and also appointed a National Planning Commission. I also established a ministry and department responsible for performance monitoring and evaluation. This was one of the most important decisions for government. The National Planning Commission was asked and tasked with developing a long-term strategic plan for the country. Instead of appointing government officials as members of the NPC, we decided that our commission must be made up of experts drawn from the broader civil society. The only criterion that I considered when appointing commissioners was that they had to possess proven expertise and experience in areas that were critical for formulating the National Development Plan. We thought it was fundamentally important not to produce a government plan or a plan associated with one political party. We wanted a national development plan that would be accepted and owned by all South Africans. After an extensive public consultation process that involved multiple stakeholders, including state entities, the private sector, civil society, and labor, the team developed a well-crafted plan. I must take this opportunity to commend all those who contributed to the development of NDP. Most importantly, we applaud the members of the public who actively participated during the public consultation process and made the NDP a good plan that it is today. The National Development Plan covers a wide variety of areas, from the economy to security, from strengthening the capacity of the state to reducing the high level of crime and corruption. The National Development Plan tells us that the world where our country would be in 2030, our vision, as contained in the NDP, is for a South Africa in which those who seek employment will be employed. It should be a country in which the youth will have access to quality education. We are striving for a society in which citizens will live healthy, long lives, a place where there is no fear of criminals and where all live safely and securely. We are building a country with a capable state that supports citizens to fulfill their dreams and freely express their talents. It envisages a growing economy that is responsive to the demands of a fast-changing world, an economy that does not only benefit the few. It should be an economy where all share in the country's wealth. Government has turned the NDP into a 5-year implementation plan, the medium-term strategic framework. The current MTSF 2014 to 2019 has 14 outcomes, which include education, health, safety and security, inclusive economic growth, job creation, infrastructure development, nation building, and social cohesion, amongst others. In this manner, the NDP has been mainstreamed and is the government's program of action. The new National Planning Commission, also comprising experts from various fields, is tasked with ensuring the effective implementation of the NDP. They will advise us where there are deficiencies so that we can plan and implement better. Since we started implementing the National Development Plan, we have marked progress in a number of areas. More people live longer than before. Life expectancy has improved. A lot more children are at school getting the education whose quality is gradually improving. The progress is, however, uneven across sectors. The reach of the basic services has not fully reached all citizens, especially those who live in the rural areas. Government thus continues to work daily to expand the reach of water, electricity, roads, housing, and other services to the people. One key area in which the long shadow of apartheid has not fully retreated is the economy. We have created a relatively large black middle class which is actively involved in the economic life of our nation. However, this achievement has not fundamentally transformed the structure and ownership patterns of the economy. Too many people who need jobs to support themselves and their families are still unemployed. The fruits of the economic growth that we have experienced since the advent of our freedom in 1994 have tended to be enjoyed by a few. The fundamental challenge we face is to grow the economy in a manner that is inclusive. To reiterate what we have said before, we need to fundamentally change the structure, systems, institutions, and patterns of ownership, management, and control of the economy in favor of all South Africans, especially the poor, the majority of whom are African and female. Our collective prosperity depends on all of us working together to bring about this fundamental change. There can be no prosperity for some while the majority languishes in poverty. That is a reality we must all accept. Given the approximately 75% of the economy is in the hands of the private sector, we need...
President Jacob Zuma speaking on the 5th anniversary of the National Development Plan, giving a progress report on the 2030 vision on what has been achieved thus far.
Fundamental.